Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by 3Chi and Barstool Sports. I am your host, Robbie Fox, along with my co-host and co-pilot, Clem, and we are here to recap the penultimate episode of Ahsoka. We love penultimate episodes here on My Mom's Basement, and we always want them to live up to the hype of, I would say, the Game of Thrones peak penultimate episodes. It's hard to live up to that hype, the Battle of the Bastards level hype, but every now and then we get a show that does. I wouldn't say this penultimate episode is a Battle of the Bastards level episode. Not even close by any means. But I thought it was a really good episode of Ahsoka and another good episode like last week to set up a major finale next week. What did you think, Clem?
Yeah, so like you said, Game of Thrones penultimate episodes, I think are probably the gold standard. I'm trying to think of like if Breaking Bad seasons, I think the Breaking Bad, it was usually the finale episode would usually have the crazy moment. Maybe the penultimate, I can't remember, but Game of Thrones, I know for sure. And you have so many of those moments. I remember Battle of the Bastards. I was standing up like it was a playoff game, like elimination playoff game for one of my teams. That's how I was. And you're like having the feelings like, oh my God, it's all over. The season's over. My favorite character is done. And then you're so happy. You feel like you won a game and you can't go to sleep. You're so happy afterwards. Definitely wasn't that. But I have to say, I have to admit, this, I think, was the first episode where I started to feel like this is one of my shows now. It doesn't feel like I'm watching someone else's show because I'm like, oh, yeah, like Ahsoka has been with this crew, left them, and now come back. And granted, I don't understand what her and Ezra meeting for the first time, the dynamics of that, her versus Thrawn. I don't have the whole backstory of that. So I'm still kind of a stranger in a foreign land in that sense. But it's just kind of nice to feel like this is a show that was made for me, as well as all the other millions of people who are diehard Rebels, Clone Wars fans, and all that kind of stuff. And sweet name, Dreams and Nightmares, Dreams and Madness. Yeah, Dreams and Nightmares. I'm talking fucking
you went Meek Mill there.
Yeah. Actually, I thought Meek Mill. I'm like, oh, this is like a Meek Mill kind of title here, but Dreams and Madness. That's a fucking. Is that metal, Bob? I think that's metal. That's a pretty metal. It's
pretty metal. Yeah, it is pretty. I could see that being the title of a Slayer song or something. What did you think of Thrawn in this episode? We've gotten 2 episodes of Thrawn now. They used him pretty sparingly, but I feel like they used him well. They showed his tactician side this week.
So I'm seeing the Thrawn tactician I've been promised, and I'm seeing him be like, nope, this is good, or this is that. I also don't know if he's just full of shit, though. Like, he's like, oh, no, this is what we want. We kind of want the Jedi to come here, or this is everything's going just as I've foreseen. And I'm like, I'm sure it's all going to make sense when it's all said and done. But it feels like if it was like a corporate meeting, he'd be like, all right, we're good. We'll circle back and we'll see you guys next week. And the project just never gets done, or it just blows up in your face. It's like a Roman, what's his last name? Shit. Not Roman Reigns, Roman from Succession. Roman Roy. It's like the rocket exploding, right? It's like, yeah. I feel like it's
phone back in the pocket.
I feel like Thrawn, he's kind of like, yeah, everything's good. Yeah, no, this is exactly what. Oh, witches, do some magic and we're good. And then it's like, I need to see it all come to fruition and go, oh, fuck, that's the, oh shit moment. Actually, speaking of Breaking Bad, Heisenberg had a lot of those moments where you're just like, what is he doing? And then when it all comes together and let's say a chemical reaction, it all comes together and boom, big explosion. He saves the day. So I give him a lot of credit. You guys, you're telling me this guy is like 99 overall kind of a villain here, right?
Yeah.
He's the big bad. So trust me. I'm trying to think. So Vader is the gold standard. I'm not going to put this guy on Vader's level because Vader has fucking space magic on his side. Kylo Ren, I don't even know what Kylo Ren was supposed to be once the sequel trilogies were all said and done, right? The Phantom Menace,
an emo bitch by the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. The Phantom Menace
back around to Ben Solo. That was all right.
Darth Maul was just Darth Maul was awesome, and then they killed him. Darth Jar Jar would have been the greatest villain of all time. They scrapped that plan. So in terms of Star Wars villains, he said I just kind of sprinkled that in there. Just sprinkled it in. Yeah, like I'm not even going to correct you anymore. I'm just in terms of Star Wars villains. I'm putting this guy. I'm expecting a lot out of him, but I need to see some. There was a couple things this episode that we'll get into, and that I had to tip my cap to him for sure.
Well, my hope for him, I think his ceiling, his peak, if he's everything we could ever want him to be, is that one day we look at this live action Thrawn performance, not necessarily Ahsoka season 1, but if they do the Heir to the Empire movie or something like that, I want him to feel as scary and him to bring as much tension as Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards. Like that kind of, you're terrified of him and you never know his next move, but you know he probably knows, you know, what you're doing.
So going back to the Thrones reference, and I thought this a couple days ago, I think I saw a little clip about him. I forgot just how much I love Tywin Lannister. Tywin Lannister was so fucking ruthless and so calculating, but you also just kind of loved him because he would just tell it like it was, like no king that has to remind you that the king is a true king and shit like that. And it was maybe because like he was real, he felt real, but he also felt like supremely badass. If maybe that's kind of the one that I'm looking for Thrawn. And everyone forgets, like, that's the guy who set up the whole Red Wedding. If we have a Red Wedding moment with Thrawn, that'll be the moment where I'm like, oh shit. And I think with Star Wars, we got it with Andor, which was kind of, we were promised that would be our Thronesy kind of show for Star Wars. And it definitely played out kind of like that. And I feel like this is bridging the gap between that and the original Star Wars kind of movies. But there is some of that in there. When we see characters like Mon Mothma, we're like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. We are in this now. We are in this world. So it's very interesting to see how it all goes. So I'm excited for Thrawn. Fucking tell me Thrawn was the one who said, let's name this episode Dreams and Madness. And then I'm like, oh yeah, let's rock, baby.
Let's get into it. The episode begins on Coruscant, and you see all the New Republic stuff all over the place. They go into a New Republic courtroom. The New Republic outfits, they're so goofy. I think we've talked about it before. Just the way that everyone in the New Republic looks, they almost had it coming. I don't want to say they had it coming when they got destroyed, but they almost had it coming. They look like clowns.
I'll say, you're a good kid and you have a clean conscience. I've been working at Barstool longer than you. My soul's already the devil's possession. They had it coming. They had it coming. They deserve everyone who got blown up in those like 7 planets or whatever they killed in fucking Force Awakens. It's because these goddamn bozos, man. Bozos in the government. And I actually do appreciate, for the record, I do appreciate just how these all just a bunch of idiots just bumbling all over themselves are the ones who are in charge of the most important decisions. And it feels like real life. We just have buffoons on every side of the aisle, and it's the same Mama Lukes that are there now. So I'm with you, Bob. And I have to say this. I always like being on Coruscant. It always gives me the little butterflies in my stomach. And I feel like there's a lot more to explore there that we haven't had a chance to do yet. So it may be a prequels planet to some people, but I'm cool with it.
I mean, I don't want to speak too soon and make it this, but I feel like it's the anti-Tatooine in that we get it constantly, and I'm not tired of it. Tatooine, I'm sick of. We've talked about it on this show constantly. We don't want to go back there. But Coruscant, I feel like there's the whole underbelly world, the whole like underground, the whole like prime politician skyscraper world. There's so much in Coruscant that we haven't discovered yet.
It's funny because like Tatooine is known as being a place that has absolutely nothing, yet it was the only place we ever visited. So they basically like, you guys want to know what it was like being Anakin and Luke during their young days? We're just going to make you guys live in Tatooine anytime you go to Star Wars.
And we're on Coruscant in this court because Hera is being court-martialed, which I don't even know exactly what that means, but it sounds real cool. Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh shit, she's getting court-martialed right now.
That's how I knew they were serious. I'm like, oh fuck, court-martial. I don't know what that means, but that sounds bad. That's really bad.
We got Carson Teva in the room. They make mention of Mandalorian season 3. So we kind of know where we are in this show now because they mention the conflict on Mandalore, Moff Gideon, and they're like, he was working by himself. There's just this dickhead senator in the room who I believe is from Star Wars Resistance, another one of the Star Wars cartoons. And he just refuses to believe Hera. He's trying every trick in the book to be like, nope, she needs to be court-martialed. She needs this. She needs that. They wind up having to get help from C-3PO. What an unexpected cameo in this episode. I thought maybe we could get 3PO or R2 at some point in the show. I didn't think he was going to show up in this moment. He walks in with a message from Princess Leia, hands him a little disc. And this guy, once again, he's like, we can't trust a fucking droid. He's just a droid. Just a droid about C-3PO. Come on.
bite your tongue, man. That motherfucker was through, at this point, has been through 2 trilogies of the Skywalker saga, just fucking making things happen. And granted, it's the little guy R2 that, makes the moves and, comes through clutch. But fuck, Death Stars ain't blowing up without C-3PO. That's just a fucking fact, Jack. And C-3PO drives me crazy like everyone else. But man, it just felt good to have a familiar voice back. And I wasn't sure when they're kind of blocking, like, is this like a little red herring here? They're trying to throw us off and it's not going to be him. And then they had it him. I was like, oh, that's nice. And is Anthony Daniels still alive? Because I feel like we've lost a lot of, okay, good. Because I feel like we've lost a lot of Star Wars actors over the years. So I was hoping I'm hoping he was still with us and this wasn't like his last appearance in the universe.
No, Kenny Baker, who played R2, is no longer with us. You might be confusing him there. But yeah, Anthony Daniels, one of the few that has appeared in literally every Star Wars movie except Solo. And he even appears in Solo, actually, as like a mine worker, but not as 3PO.
Gotcha. Did we lose the guy who played Chewbacca? Peter,
we did. Peter Mayhew.
So we lost him. I believe we lost the guy who was in Vader's body as well, right?
Yep. David Krause, yeah.
I had a few guys in mind here, and then obviously my guy R2, I know we lost as well. But yeah, I don't even know what to call him. I think I called him the Asian senator last time. He kind of looks like Manny Pacquiao, maybe a little like Islander in him. And is he even sus? I just think it's so obvious he's a fucking like Imperial. He has some sort of Imperial like background, or he's being bribed by an Imperial. I think
I actually don't think that. I think he's just so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I got vibes that obviously he's like trying to like make everyone not look at what's going on, but I don't think it's on purpose.
And if that's the case, that's fine, because again, there literally are politicians who are that stupid. Like they're stupid in common sense. They're good at like knowing how to acquire power. They just don't know how to do it. And listen, the basement, we'll let it fly in the basement. We're not going to give political opinions. They all suck. I don't give a fucking color. Red, fucking green, purple, blue. Speaking of green, the green dumper was not shown. I think they saw our TikToks and they edited it out, because that was the first time I saw Hera and there wasn't just a dumper going in to lead us into the thing. And they could have led us into the court with it, and they didn't do it. So we're apparently making changes, and I apologize to anyone out there that was looking for it. I think we might have seen our last glimpse of the dumper for this season.
Eventually, the message from Leia gets Hera out of this little conundrum that she's in, and Mon Mothma pulls her aside after the meeting, and she's like, just how real is the threat of Thrawn coming back? She's like, it's pretty fucking real. Like, let's be careful about that. Boom, credit sequence, title sequence, whatever.
Shout out Leia for doing what Leia does too. Like, rebel in her own right, knows she's just gonna take care of business and sense it on her dude. R2 would have been better, but hey, listen, C-3PO, he's a talker, completely understand it. By the way, speaking of the droids, again, listen, you guys promised me that my guy Chopper was a bad motherfucker. If he had committed an assassination on the Senate floor, or whatever the fuck that place is, then I'd be like, yep, that's my droid. The guy just had like a little, and that's it. And his whole entire species is being slandered by Pacquiao, by fucking Senator Pacquiao.
I know. I'm going to need a Chopper scene in the finale that's huge. I'm going to need like a big, because he's laid a goose egg pretty much this whole season.
Okay, I will tell you this. If Chopper assassinates Senator Pacquiao, I'm in on him. Anything else, basically, I'm out on Chopper season 1. And listen, I'm not closing the door on Chopper, because I'm not stupid. I know this should be my guy. But a whole season, and you just have one off the cuff comment. Yeah, we can murder a bunch of people. Who cares? Funny, entertaining. And the flex. The flex was a cool flex. I have to admit that was a cool flex.
I love that, yeah.
But you guys promised me the world, and I'm getting nothing. So I need an assassin. If you give me a live assassination of someone, tip of the fucking cap. I'll count it then.
That's fair. No, that's very fair. Ahsoka's on her trip training with an old hologram of Anakin Skywalker. This is really cool. He's in his Clone Wars gear again, and it's a cool way to use him back on the show. I didn't know how they were going to get him back, but we did get him for another episode. And she even puts the hologram away. They kind of linger on that shot for a second. I think it's got to mean those holograms are going to Luke. I can't believe they haven't gone to Luke already. She's got like home videos of his father, and she's just hoarding them. But I think that would be a cool way to, I don't know if it'll end the season. I don't know if they'll do that yet, because I have a feeling we're going to end on a big Thrawn wins cliffhanger Infinity War style next week. But
Yeah.
I think they have to transfer those films over, and we could get Mark Hamill, quote unquote, you know, the de-aging, whatever they do to him, deep fake, on screen with Hayden Christensen, his father. I think that'd be cool.
That would be very cool. That would be, and the fact that Baylan is in the mix too. I don't know if he'd have a part in it or anything, but that, like, play some Cat Stevens in the background, you know, some Cats in the Cradle or Father and Son from Guardians 2 or something, and he just kind of sits back and watches them like Clark Griswold was watching the family movies in the attic of Christmas Vacation. Oh wait, did you even see Christmas Vacation?
No.
Oh, that's I didn't remember if you didn't like it.
I've seen a lot of it. Like, I've seen a lot of it. You know, it's always on around the holidays. So I know a lot of the scenes, the electrocution scene, I know all that. But yeah, no.
Release the Anakin cut. That's basically the story for Ahsoka here. Give the fucking boy, that sounds kind of weird. Give the boy what he wants, but give him his fucking dad, man. Come on. What are you doing, Ahsoka? It seems kind of fucked up that she didn't do it to begin with. And I have to ask this as a non-Rebels or Clone Wars watcher. How was Anakin as a master to his apprentice? Was he like the cool teacher that was really good at teaching, and she like kind of followed the lead, or did he kind of stumble and wasn't a great teacher because he was battling with his own demons? Like, I don't even know what to make of Anakin here.
Yeah, I would say he was the cool teacher for a while. He was always like, he always knows best. Anakin, I would say, as a teacher, was never wrong, even because as he's teaching Ahsoka, he's also got Obi-Wan as his master. So he's still like trying to prove himself to Obi-Wan. He's still always doing crazy shit to get out of battles, to win battles, to get out of situations, trying the craziest things, much like them being in a whale mouth. That's like an Anakin move, I feel like. But eventually, yeah, the Jedi Order like turns on Ahsoka. He doesn't defend her as much as he should have. She got framed for a bombing. She went through a couple rough years there.
Ooh.
And yeah, as she says to him, he wasn't there for the Battle of Mandalore because he went off and fucking became Darth Vader. So started off as a good master, ended as not so great.
And obviously, so it's Jedi stuff, so he's not going to stick by their rules. I mean, he was obviously banging Padme on the backside without anyone knowing, which, you know, is fuck the Jedi as well. So it's just good to know. Like, it's like he was so gifted, he probably wasn't the best master to be teaching step by step because he could just kind of. It's like Lawrence Taylor, and this is my sports analogy. Like, Belichick was Lawrence Taylor's defensive coordinator. That's fucking Obi-Wan and Anakin, right? And Lawrence Taylor would show up to the games like still drunk from the night before, passed out in the elevator. They'd find him there, wake him up. He'd get his jersey on and he'd go out, have 3 sacks and, you know, a touchdown, win the fucking game for them. If then Lawrence Taylor had to teach Michael Strahan to become the next Lawrence Taylor, it's like, well, just wake up and just sack the quarterback. And it's like, yeah, man, it takes more than that if you're not Lawrence fucking Taylor, right? Is that a fair way to put it? I think he was gifted. Rob's like, I think so. That sounds about right.
I think it is, and I'm going to use that sports analogy to tell everyone about Game Time, the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, created by fans for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. And they guarantee the lowest price as well. There's a bunch of events going on this fall. Obviously, football's back. Go see your team, get out there with your friends, or go to a concert. On the sheet, it says go see concerts like Zach Bryan or Morgan Wallen. Zach Bryan, I feel weird like saying go see. Well, no, I should say go see him because we know, you know, we're friends. Well, I wouldn't say friends. We work with his girlfriend, Brianna Chicken Fry. Shout out.
Friendly alliance. She's an ally.
Yeah, we see each other. We say hi. It's all possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you never thought you could buy, and they'll even credit you 110% of the seat price if you can find a better deal elsewhere. You can also get limited-time discounts with their exclusive flash deals, and the purchase process just takes 2 taps and 10 seconds. Once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone, no printer needed, and the app also allows you to easily share tickets with your friends via text so you can get into the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle. Enjoy the moment. Download the Game Time app or go to their website, enter your email, and redeem the code MMB for $20 off your first purchase. We love Game Time. Great app. Very easy to use.
We love Game Time. I'm gonna go see the Giants playoff game thanks to Game Time this year. I'm calling it now. September 27th. Oh yeah, playoff game, Bob. Playoff game. That's right.
All right, we'll see. Where are we? Okay,
the
so
Giants
they come out of
playoffs.
hyperspace.
That's where we are.
They come out of hyperspace into a minefield. They got mines all around this planet. Unreal move by Thrawn, once again, one step ahead of everyone. And they go through it, kind of Empire Strikes Back style, and then they hide very much Empire Strikes Back style, which you got to love that. There's a bunch of Empire Strikes Back vibes in this episode, actually. When she's talking to Sabine later on and they're contacting each other, they're flashing back. That was kind of Empire-y.
I got the same vibes as you did. And I like to think in like the Rebel like database, there is like the ESB like technique. It's like if you find yourself in a asteroid field, a field of bad things, basically, this is how you should get through it. And then it's like do this, that, and make sure you're not like inside a space worm. Those are the like check boxes you have to check off. And they nailed it. And this was the moment I go, what the fuck is this? And I go, oh, motherfucking Thrawn just used the minefields on innocent whales. That is some ruthless shit. He's a ruthless Vato, in the words of the guys from Training Day. Woo! That was a move. That was the first time I tipped the cap and said this Thrawn guy might have something to him after all.
And killing whales, that was like a big topic of discussion over the last decade. You can't be doing that. Whale fishers and all that. That's a big no-no.
Thrawn is definitely pro climate change. He's not one of those people that doesn't acknowledge it. He acknowledges it and it's like, no, I'm happy with it. Like I live in a place that needs about 5 degrees worth of a warming up. And if the tides rise, I'll have beachfront property and I'll sell it for twice the price that I bought it from. And that's why I have to just tip my cap to Thrawn. He's a bad motherfucker. I kind of dig him.
And as far as the Empire Strikes Back technique, I wonder if Han Solo gave interviews after the war and kind of revealed some secrets of the trade, thinking, oh, we'll never get into a war again. Kind of like Ant-Man doing his book after Endgame and all that. I wonder if Han did something like, I don't know, he did a late night show on friggin' Naboo.
Great call.
So Thrawn finds out that Anakin was Ahsoka's master, and this was a great moment. The way he acknowledges it and looks up for a second and kind of just has this oh shit face is great. Now, in canon, Anakin and Thrawn knew each other. They met on Batuu, which you may recognize as Disneyland's and Disney World's Galaxy's Edge. This is the planet that is based around the theme park. This is where they met. They were both on independent missions. Anakin was the first Jedi that Thrawn ever met. Thrawn was trying to, I think, recruit forces for the Chiss army, which is where he's a part of from. And Anakin was trying to find Padme. I think Padme had been kidnapped or went missing. They couldn't get in touch with her. They helped each other out on their missions and gained a mutual respect for one another. Later on, and this is all from books and comic books you could find online. Later on, when Anakin becomes Darth Vader, Thrawn is one of the only people in the entire galaxy to be able to just tell that he is Vader. It's like John Blake in The Dark Knight Rises. He looks at Batman. He's like, you're fucking Bruce Wayne. I could tell. And Thrawn knows through all of his characteristics and traits. So he starts like trolling him, literally. He's like, oh, yeah. They go back to Batuu together. He's like, remember when we were here last time? And Vader's like, what the fuck? And Vader has to like check his emotions with the Force, and he checks it, and Thrawn is like neutral. He's right in the middle. He's just like, he's not doing it for any reason other than to fuck with him, I guess. And I think at one point Vader like goes to use some kind of transport machine, and it's like some crazy like galaxy hyperspace transport. And Thrawn is like, you know what we call people that use that back on my planet? And he's like, no, what? He's like, Skywalkers. Fucking sends him along. So Thrawn is like, he's got balls, you know, and he knows Anakin, or knew at this point. Anakin's dead. I keep saying that. And I think him finding out that Anakin was Ahsoka's master is going to give him a big step ahead. I think he's going to fuck with her head right when she's getting in a good headspace with her old, you know, videos and her experience with Anakin in the World Between Worlds. He's going to drop some kind of Vader reference on her that's going to send her into pieces.
So now I'm going to be on the lookout for this because I'm excited about it, because we have obviously the same people in charge of this, same fucking actor doing all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he'll get that See, that's the stuff. That's a good villain right there. Kind of one that likes to fuck with you a little. Again, I always love when a wrestler will use another wrestler's finishing move against him. This is the same kind of thing, just getting in your head, fucking with you. Is Thrawn like neutral evil? Like, I feel like he's evil, but it's like he's like lawful or neutral evil. Like, it strikes me as
I think he's like neutral, yeah.
He just kind of likes, he does it for the love of the game. And if Anakin's checking on him and he's like, nah, I'm just doing this just to fuck with the fellow. Does he have like a super large brain or something? Have we learned that yet? I feel like we have to learn this about Thrawn.
I mean, in the animated, he kind of has a large forehead. He might be encasing a big brain. Yeah.
Big brain shit. So in the words of Portnoy right there, right? The big brain. So, okay. I need to get some more. I need to get some more backstories about this, like just the highlight stuff. Like if there was a lightsaber with a blaster involved, if Thrawn was making Anakin jokes and Skywalker references to Darth Vader, there is some. That's some good shit right there. It's like a This League moment, like NBA kind of stuff, right?
Now I should mention Disney has retconned Disney era canon before. Like I think the intro to the Bad Batch, like the Order 66 stuff, retcons what was already written in a Disney canon comic. So they could always go back and change this stuff. Dave Filoni has said like George Lucas only considered the TV shows and the movies canon. Everything else was whatever. I think there's an aspect of that in Dave Filoni's mind as well, even though that they're saying all of these books and comics and everything are under the same universe. They could always go back and change that if it fits the story better. So while that is currently the story, consider it 90% the story, maybe.
And let's be honest, this stuff, 90% of this Star Wars stuff is to make money and
sell toys.
Make
at
money,
this point to
toys.
Adults, though. It's weird. It used to be to sell toys to kids. Now it's to sell collectibles to adults.
And they're also like expanding the story, but like 10% of it is to like kind of just fix all the old shit that everyone hated.
Yeah.
And Filoni's done a good job, it sounds, of that even before, like stuff that I haven't even watched yet. And it sounds like they're just going to do more of the same from here on out, which I am 100% behind.
Yeah. Part of the thing I love that they're doing for the sequel trilogy, it was always confusing to me that Leia was not working for the New Republic, even though they won the war together. Like Leia split off and started the Resistance. They're kind of making it make sense now. Like nobody believes them. And they're like, all right, I guess we have to fucking break off and use our own resources.
Yeah. It's like the people that were actually fighting the wars and doing shit and getting their hands dirty, they probably were like, all right, now let's rebuild this thing from the ground up. And then you have all the politicians who didn't do a fucking thing. Like, nope, we got it from here. We completely fucked this shit up like 50 years ago. But no, we'll fix it and everything will be fine. And then, sure enough, I always get the First Order. I always call it the New Order. Yeah. The First Order is going to pop up and butt fuck us all.
That's what they did.
Proverbially, maybe figuratively.
Meanwhile, Ezra and Sabine are catching up while they're traveling with the Noti. And I love how they travel in there. It's like a trailer park and they actually can drive their trailers. It's awesome. And they look like, to me, the Krabby Patty Mobile. I think, what was it? The Patty Wagon that SpongeBob and Patrick ride in. It kind of looked like that, the way they're like bouncing along and everything. And they have a great sequel trilogy joke in there, I think, where Ezra asks if the Emperor's dead and Sabine drops a, "That's what people say." Kind of sweet, eh?
Yeah. Joke, funny joke. I think by that point, everyone could at least admit that the fucking sequel trilogy was off its fucking rocker and off the rails. Yeah. So that was the best. Is when, what did they say? Like, you found out the Emperor was alive in Fortnite. You found out something else through like another video game. You found out this through like a TV commercial. And there was just like, oh, Paps is back. Who fucking knows that? Great line. I loved it. I hope it was a nice little dig at the sequel trilogy, but that's my own personal taste.
I think it's just one of those like, that didn't work out the way we thought it would, And I'm a guy who still to this day, I'll defend a lot of aspects of Rise of Skywalker. Even the Emperor coming back, I'm like, it's a pretty good performance he gives, but just the whole somehow he returned it'll be mind-boggling till the day I die.
Yep, I appreciate using mind bottling because I was gonna say it's another OG reference. Dave would talk about ball don't lie shirts, every single blog, and it was because it was such a flop of a shirt, and he had 1 million of them he never sold, and it's like free to ball don't lie shirt to whoever does this, and it was an old Barstool saying, and it's kind of like I would love it if like the next 10 episodes of whatever Star Wars show there is, they're like, the fuck is this Emperor? He's back. Like I would love it. I would love it. It would be beating into the ground like a Family Guy joke, but I'd still be down for it.
I love Family Guy jokes. We get a Zeb name drop, and they say he's training recruits. And then Ahsoka does her thing where she reaches out through the Force. She's actually able to connect to Sabine for a second and locate her. But as soon as she does, the Night Mothers and her Night Sisters locate her using their magic. They've got those 3 balls, and they put them together, and it makes a triangle. They locate her with the magic, and they send fighters down to draw them down to the planet. Those 3 spear things that they're using, we got to see those get destroyed by a lightsaber at some point. Just the way that they keep focusing in on them, they're so important. It's going to be a good moment when those get sliced in half, Fruit Ninja style.
Oh, Fruit Ninja style. I like that, Bob. Such a satisfying game. To this day, the kids even play it still. It still makes it work, man. It still delivers. I have to give them that much. And fuck those witches. Oh, by the way, I can't take this witch serious. Ever since Sherry O'Terry and we figured out who the girl Dave was talking about, that's who it is. She's Sherry O'Terry, and I can't see her as anything else. And I see her, and I think she's going to break into the cheerleading thing that she did with Will Ferrell on SNL. I'm like, I can't take you seriously as a witch right now.
So Baylan, in an interesting moment and kind of spur of the moment, tells Shin that they're going to separate. He's like, you go kill Ezra and Sabine and join the newfound empire. Like, you should take your place in this, but our paths got to separate here. We got to separate. Like, I'm not going to follow you. Very sudden, I thought, even though the whole season, we could tell their morals or their mindset isn't completely aligning, but he drops a pretty cold exit line. He says, impatience for victory will guarantee defeat. Thought that was cold.
That feels like something every Jedi master tells his apprentice at some point. It's like the path to the dark side is like the easy path or the least resistance. Don't do that. Make sure cross your T's, dot your I's, and your lowercase J's, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, well, she's gonna she's gonna do that. She's gonna completely fuck it up.
Yep.
No one ever listens to it. If I was a Jedi, which I would never get into Jedi school, let's be honest, but if I could, I would just be like, I don't know anything to do other than don't take the quickest way to victory, because you're going to fuck that up.
Yeah, I've actually, this is maybe, I don't know if this is going to sound lame to say out loud. I've been applying this to my real life recently, where like anytime I need patience, I say to myself, like, fucking patience is the trait of a Jedi. I just say it in my mind, and it kind of like helps, actually.
No, Bob, you're right. That does sound lame.
Let's tell the people about Celebrity Mint, a brand new sponsor. Celebrity Mint is the first venture of its kind, offering the first ever legal tender trading coins. Precious metal coins reimagined as trading cards, featuring sports luminaries and influential figures, bringing to market unique memorabilia with intrinsic value as a bonus. So this is stuff that it's collectibles that you buy it and it's going to go up in value, it sounds like, essentially. Celebrity Mint fuses sports collectibles with the prestige of coin collecting to bring a new generation of collectors to the table, offering collectors the chance to start or bolster their collection with legal tender gold and silver memorabilia. That's a real flex. If you have a Celebrity Mint gold coin, that's like cooler than showing someone a card that you could just bend like that and destroy.
Just slam down the coin, boom, heads or tails.
Like a pog.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Throw down the slammer.
Slam it down like a pog. Their initial line will kick off with the Legend Series, minted coins, autographed memorabilia featuring iconic athletes and celebrities that'll be announced soon. And Celebrity Mint's products will be available for purchase at www.celebritymint.com and available exclusively on eBay through their exclusive distribution collaboration. Sign up for exclusive product updates and drops at celebritymint.com and follow at the Celebrity Mint on Instagram, at Celebrity Mint HQ on Twitter or X, and Celebrity Mint on Facebook, and at the Celebrity Mint on TikTok. There you go. Sign up for exclusive product updates and drops at celebritymint.com and follow Celebrity Mint on social media now. This product is launching soon, so go to their website and hopefully you'll see that countdown. They'll get stuff announced soon.
I'm looking here. First of all, I went to celebritymint.com before we went live, and they have a couple of faces here. I can't say which they are because they have the eyes blacked out. So there are a couple of guys I will say that, famous athletes. And then One of them has Nate. I could just say Nate. I don't think I have to say like the whole.
Yeah. Woo! Can we say that?
There's
I said it.
There is some pretty sweet looking shit there. I'm excited. This is going to be cool. I didn't really know how to make of it. Go to the Celebrity Mint Instagram, and you'll see like 2 days ago they had one, and it looks fucking sweet. It's kind of like
I'm looking at it right now.
So it's like you have the cards. You have like your traditional like coins, like a straight up like quarter or whatever. This is like a Funko Pop, but in like coin size, right? Is that fair to say? So
I think that's very fair to say.
This looks very cool. I'm excited for this. So I can't wait for them. I can't wait to see what celebrities they actually mint, and we'll put some in the basement. I think both our collections we have a little room in our shelves for some new stuff in the collections.
I'll put one right back there or something. Boom.
Look next to Baby Yo, one of the 7 Baby Yodas.
There's a couple of them up there. Yeah. Something a Twitter user noticed this week. Baylan has some writing on his wrist, and he has it looks like a fucking Apple Watch, to be honest. And there's some Arabic writing on it. It says Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, R2, 3PO, and Ben. Very interesting. I don't know if it's in reference to Ben Kenobi or Ben Solo. Ben Solo is alive at this point, I think. Very interesting. I don't know if that's I don't think it would be this, but is that like the production people adding that in as a little Easter egg for the fans? Or is that like he's on a mission to find those people in some way? Because he's in the wrong galaxy if he is. That's
true. He's as far away from that as basically possible. I didn't think about that if he was looking for them. I just thought he was just a really big fan. But Jesus, like the fact that someone actually looked all that up in that fictional Star Wars font.
Arabic. Some people are just fluent in it at this point. I know people that go to Disney are pretty good at it at this point because there's graffiti all over Disney and people wanted to learn it to be able to translate it.
Oh my God. Those people definitely watch Rebels. This show is doing a lot more for them than it's doing for me.
I got to be honest. I've made it a goal at times to like learn it, and I just give up like 20 minutes in every time.
Learning a new language is a hard thing when you have an actual reason to learn it other than I just want to see the graffiti at Star Wars or see the Easter egg in the guy's watch. So I can't blame you, Robbie. I can't blame you. That would definitely be nerdier than using the Jedi's, patience virtue as your motto in life, though.
True. So we see some raiders go after Ezra, Sabine, and the Noti. And the Noti in this moment are super Ewok-y in a way that I enjoyed. They're using slingshots and throwing rocks and putting sticks and spokes. It's a great little chase sequence, even though I know you're not a big chase sequence guy, until they get surrounded. When they get surrounded, Sabine goes to offer Ezra his lightsaber back. He's like, I don't want that fucking lightsaber. I don't need it anymore. He's been not using a lightsaber for 10 years. It might feel a little unnatural for him to even pick it back up at this point. But we get a big action sequence where he's force pushing people. She's using her Mando stuff. She's using the lightsaber. Ahsoka eventually jumps out of her ship to join the fray. Gotta admit, the scene where she jumps out of her ship, I actually watched it a couple times over on a rewatch just to be like, what went wrong here? The CG is so stunningly bad in this scene. I was thinking while she was about to jump out of the ship, how do you make that look good? And they didn't.
I thought there was something a little off there, and I didn't know if it was just me. And I was, trying to put a kid. I'd see him talking my ear off during it, so I was like, that just seemed odd. Okay, so definitely not me. For like you said, what does he say? Like, I knew they're peaceful people. He's like, yeah, but I didn't know they're like defenseless or whatever. Like, I love that. And then straight like they will forever. That will be Ewok style. Whenever you have the rudimentary, beings just using sticks and stones to try to break some Imperial bones. So I appreciated that as well. I liked Ezra using the Force as something other than just guiding the lightsaber or the occasional Force choke or push or whatever. I like that he was like his weapon. That's all he had. I imagine if you're 10 years without a lightsaber and you have to stay alive, you just figure out other ways to use your gift. And I kind of appreciated that from him.
I liked it, but did you feel like it was like a little like underwhelming? Like I wanted to see him fucking pick someone up and slam him with the Force or something. I wanted to see him do something. It was a lot of just like push from very close and someone falls backwards.
Yeah, he basically had to stay on like the light side of the force, so I feel like he couldn't
Yeah.
really do anything. You don't get anything cool. You get all the shit stuff with on the light side of the force. You played the video games, you know. You're like,
Yeah.
man, if I chose dark side, I'd just be murdering motherfuckers without even trying now. But then you put the video game on hard essentially, and that's what I was saying here is letting Sabine keep the lightsaber was like when your older brother will let you get all the good weapons in the video game and you just stick with like the default gun and you'd have the fucking laser beam and the fire launcher, whatever the fuck. Which, by the way, Sabine using the blowtorch the right way. I hope Mando was watching last night and he could have actually learned how to use it. It was more of a distraction than anything. It really didn't do anything as usual.
She used it like to create distance, I feel like. Because
exactly.
it was as Ezra kind of had to save her. He kind of like swiped her away from lightsaber strike. And then she used it as she was going away. So Shin couldn't like approach her. I thought that was, I wrote in my notes, like uses it a little more efficiently than Mando.
Yes, just not much, but it's also not a high bar to clear, but definitely uses it more efficiently than Mando. Fair point. Fair point.
Ahsoka runs right into Baylan, and Baylan's like, listen, I don't want to do this, but I just can't allow you to interfere. So they fight again. Ahsoka kind of gets put on the ropes by Baylan, but then she uses the gunfire from above to escape. Back at the Nodi village, Shin's fighting with Ezra. She kind of singes or slices a couple of his hairs off. I thought that was a very cool scene. He's like, oh, almost got me. He eventually stops her blade. You could see the energy like warping when he stops it too. Another scene where I was like, all right, that's something we haven't seen with lightsabers before, not necessarily in that visual effects style. And they're surrounded by night troopers, raiders. I don't even know what the scavengers, what these people on the planet would be called. And they show the whole time Thrawn almost on like a Hunger Games level chessboard, being like, all right, those losses are okay. This is okay. We get Sabine versus Shin 3. I wrote, this is like Gotti Ward 3. Ezra has to save her life again. I don't know why Sabine keeps fighting Shin and expecting the outcome to change. Every time it's you require a distraction or someone to come in and save your life. She uses the fire, as we mentioned, until Ahsoka shows up to save the day. Again, though, Sabine, the outcome hasn't changed in 3 fights. I think she's got to give it up with Shin. I think Ahsoka's got to take Shin next time.
Oh, yeah. And if Sabine just beats her without any kind of like on-camera leveling up, it's going to feel like bullshit, right? Like,
unless it's just like she's learned her game plan at this point. She's been thinking about it a lot since last time. I don't know. I'm trying to think about it from like a fight fan perspective.
Yeah. So I'm thinking from a wrestling fan perspective and maybe throw some Mr. Fuji salt in her eyes and you fucking like chop her. I don't know what else to do, but she clearly cannot. It's like, yeah, you see the same match every single week. It's like, no, you just get steamrolled. Very annoying. The Ezra stopping the blade made me think of when Kylo Ren stops the blaster shot, which
such a good moment in that movie.
That's how we start like the sequel trilogy off. And I was like, oh, we're cooking. And I actually like Force Awakens, I think, more than most. And it did not obviously finish that way. But man, that was such a cool fucking moment. I think everyone was nerding out in the theater when that happened.
The whole theater went, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, everyone, you could hear people like gasp, like, oh, he could stop blasters like that.
I could do that.
Also, they made the brilliant choice in the sequel trilogy to really give sound to the Force. Mm-hmm. Yep. Where we get it a lot now, where they give it like, I don't even know how to describe it, but almost like that ocean type, like glass to a door type sound. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's a great move. Yep. Creating a sound for the Force.
You feel it in your soul. It's a little bassy too. It's very, very, very cool. And Ezra, by the way, he is fucking piercing blue eye. He's a handsome lad. I think he should be in Dune. I think he might be in the wrong cinematic universe. I know.
Right, I was gonna bring that up because I don't like it. I
like
the actor a lot. Yeah, I like the actor a lot. I think the personality he's nailing like to a T. Like Ezra's a very jokey, fun guy, and that's how he seems so far. Even though he's been stranded on this planet for 10 years, he's still optimistic in everything. He's at the end of it, I think we're going to go home. The eyes, and I feel this way about Hera too a little bit, are too bright and it's distracting. And he looks like a Fremen from Dune. That's what they were, right? The Fremen from Dune.
I don't know. I have to ask Jeff D. Lowe. I saw the movie on an airplane. He'd probably kill me.
You could have just he could have given him brown eyes or whatever natural color eyes he has. And I don't think anyone would. I mean, I'm sure some cartoon people would have complained, but like, come on. I'll get used to it. I'll get used to it. But right now, I'm not used to it.
Is he super blue-eyed in the cartoons? I don't.
Yeah, but it's a cartoon, so it's like, you know,
and it's stylized. It's not as pronounced, I don't think. I mean, like, no. Yeah, he has blue eyes, as in he has blue eyes for a person. They're not as blue in the cartoon as they are in real life. These are piercing, and that's all I could think of. I was like, what the fuck is this guy? Maybe 10, maybe we'll hear like, when you're alone with the Force, 10 years, your eyes turn extra blue. I don't know. Maybe we'll get that all next episode, but it did feel weird. That was just my opinion. It stuck out to me, and that's someone that has never seen Rebels, so that's how I felt about it. I don't want the Rebels cartoon people to come out. Animated fans coming at your ass. That's one way to fucking go to an early grave. My graves
now, how do you feel about Thrawn's eyes, though? Because I think Thrawn's eyes are okay, and they're fucking bright red.
So when the guy has blue skin, you kind of just throw it all out. You know, like I'm suspending disbelief, or I feel like I should be suspending belief during that. Whatever one it is, I think
you are suspending belief. Or I'm suspending disbelief. No. Fuck, I don't know.
When I see a dude with blue skin, if he has any color eyes, I don't care. He already has the blue skin. My brain's already confused as it is. So whatever it is, the Cad Bane, like I already saw Cad Bane, right? And that was the same kind of thing. Does he have red eyes? I think he does. So it's like,
I think he does. Yeah. It's suspension of disbelief, by the way.
Suspension of disbelief. So we got it here. And again, when it all comes down to it, space magic, you know, lightning swords, whatever you want to call it, I can deal with the piercing blue eyes. He's handsome. He's a handsome guy. He's a likable guy. The fact that he's able to act like this after 10 years in isolation. I mean, we were all broken after like 2 weeks in isolation during the pandemic. So this fucking guy, shout out to him, man. He's fucking doing it right. And I don't know if people don't like this swordless fighting, force fighting. I kind of like that. Like, you could kind of be, he's like someone that's in a fight, but trying not to hurt his opponent for some reason, because they're like
that's
under
the most spell. Jedi thing you could do.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. My guy Baylan, I feel like he's doing something bigger than him. I think he's trying to do something that is trying to bring real balance to the Force. I think he knows the dark side is bullshit, but I also think he knows the light side is bullshit. And I think he's trying to get that gray area that I thought the whole Rise of Skywalker was going to be about. And I think he's going to try to bring balance to the Force. And my theory, I don't know if this even makes sense. My theory is somehow, some way, he's going to do something that will lead to Luke starting his camp, that leads to Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren and all that stuff. Wow. I don't know how.
Big implications on the future.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know how it's going to happen. It doesn't really make sense. He might just not do anything this episode, and then the actor dies, and we have to basically start anew with a new actor. I have no clue, but that's my prediction for Baylan.
They're saying there's possible Zepho connections with Baylan. Like, does he know of Zepho beings on this planet, or is Zepho being? The Zepho beings were mainly, I think they were mainly in the Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor video games. They're these massive, almost eternal levels in size beings who are like Force beings that fell to the dark side at some point. I got to read up on them, but I will before next week if they have any implications. Before we continue with the show, though. No,
Filoni's already thrown space whales at us, so he can just throw fucking eternal Force beings at us, whatever. I'm fine.
I was going to say, before we continue, I'm getting hungry. And speaking of hungry, I want to tell everyone about Factor. With the busy fall season already in swing, you might be looking for some wholesome, convenient meals for jam-packed days. And Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help fuel you up with fast, chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. If you're too busy to cook this fall, but want to make sure you're eating well, Factor will help you skip the trip to the grocery store and skip the chopping, prepping, cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. I love Factor. We got it stocked in the fridge at all times. Well, not at all times, because I go through it pretty quickly. I love this stuff. I could eat a couple Factor meals a day. It's just great. They have great sides. Everything tastes very fresh. All the vegetables as the sides taste fresh. They introduced me to this whole new world of things that aren't rice, that are kind of like rice, that just taste like rice, but they're super healthy. This September, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered straight to your door. Head to factormeals.com/Robbie50, ROBBIE50, and use that same promo code Robbie50 to get 50% off. That's code Robbie50 at factormeals.com/Robbie50 to get 50% off. And that was the last ad break of the show. So in old Jim Ross, Monday Night Raw style, the rest of this show will be presented commercial free.
We're going to 11:03 tonight, everyone. La Femme Nikita's going to have to wait. Silk stockings as well.
By
the way, is that coming back to? That's coming back to USA, right? WWE.
No, Raw is still on USA. SmackDown's coming back to USA now.
I never knew SmackDown was ever on USA, so I think
it was briefly on USA. Yeah,
I was gonna make a statement saying that, like, if justice feels right to have Raw back on USA, even though I haven't watched wrestling in forever. Turns out it's been there this whole time.
It's been there.
SmackDown is coming through a spot where I never knew it was in the first place. So I take back my little nostalgia burst that I was about to have.
As soon as Ahsoka shows up, they start going to town action wise, and Shin runs away straight up. The forces retreat. Thrawn accepts the losses. He's like, "This is fine. Everything," like you kind of were implying later. He's like, "Everything's fine. This is all part of the plan. It's all good." And he basically says they provided the perfect distraction while the cargo transfer was completed. Ahsoka lost the one thing she can't afford to lose: time. Once again, we have to ask, what are in those coffins? We said, is it dead bodies that they're trying to reanimate? I saw some people thinking, are they dead Night Sisters? So they're trying to, like, get the Night Sisters all spread throughout the galaxy and they could take over as a race or species. I still don't know what they could be. Are they Force users? Are they dead Jedi that I don't know how they would be on this galaxy? Were they on Thrawn ship before the Battle of Lothal that they're trying to get back in the same way Gideon wanted Grogu Force blood? I don't know, but clearly that's a big part of it because the way they showed it on the screen, the cargo loading screen and everything, I think we're going to find out next week.
I was wondering what the fuck is in this package, or, you know, like you see it all loading there, which again, always appreciate when we have a nice little graphic to let me know how far the loading process is going for something. And I'm like, I just must have missed what it's ever was in that package there. I figured it was a weapon or something like that. Fuck. There could be some.
Maybe it's weapons.
It could be some
maybe
gnarly
it's something
shit
from this universe that is able to get them back and forth. Is it some kind of coaxium that, you know, is powerful enough that they could transfer to and from galaxies? Because with the introduction of this new galaxy, I'm also thinking, is this going to be Dave Filoni's excuse in a way to have his characters not be present during the sequel trilogy but not die during the sequel trilogy or something like that, you know, where he could be, I'll give the Captain Marvel excuse, where were you? Well, there's a lot of galaxies that need saving. One of those.
Yeah. Man, I kind of like the idea of like some gnarly shit like Dead Jedi or something. Something, it has to be something.
Jedi would be sick.
Yeah, and then they're just gonna like basically mash up the bodies, and that's how they're gonna get their like Force shit that they were trying to get from Baby Yo, his blood or whatever.
And they were kind of trying to do that with Gideon, right? He had the people in the amber, like Jurassic Park.
Hey, fucking Kenjack was out there trying to milk him like a Ninja Turtle. It was some fucked up stuff. So I'm down for whatever, man. The Grues more like twisted the better, and anything that kind of makes oh god, I can't remember his name. God damn it. What was the fucking big bad of episode 8 who was like the new emperor and he ended up just being a fucking bum? Snoke, yeah. Give me something to make Snoke make sense. That's cool with me. Yeah. Whatever it may be.
So the episode ends with Ahsoka getting her reunion with Ezra. Sabine reveals she thought Ahsoka was dead. They have funny, like, oh, you thought she was dead? Oh my God. Very Rebels back and forth. And it ends on Ezra saying, I might be going home after all, which, to make a wrestling reference again, if the babyface wins or beats down on the champion, the heel champion on the go home show, the show right before the pay-per-view, it usually doesn't spell good news for him on the pay-per-view. They're giving him a one-up to make you think that he's going to do it, he's going to get it, and then he fucking gets chokeslammed by Kane on Sunday night. And I think that's what's going to happen to this crew. I still think maybe Hu Yang is the guy you kill to rally them around that little robot, but I think someone's going to die next week. I think maybe the New Republic is going to eat some hard losses. Thrawn's got to up the stakes, and I think he's going to. I think next week's finale is going to be big time Empire Strikes Back, Infinity War, bad guy wins, cliffhanger vibes.
Yeah, I'm down for it. Anything to make me love Thrawn as much as I want to love Thrawn. If that's what it takes, gotta crack some eggs to make a tomlet, right? So if that's what we have to do here, that's what we're gonna do. I don't, as crazy as it sounds, I don't think I want Hu Yang to be the one to bite the bullet here, even though it should open the door hypothetically for my guy Chopper to become the droid of the show. I think we could have a multi-droid show. We've had multiple droids in the past and everything has worked well, but I am.
Yeah, I'd like to see them become friends.
Who do you want?
R2D2 style.
Yeah,
but like of the crew, like.
Yeah.
I mean, I said it last week. Killing Sabine or Hera would be like crazy ballsy. I just don't think they're gonna do it, and I don't even know if I don't know if that's the smart thing to do.
If it's
like,
the move, yeah.
Sabine, I don't think is the move because they're training her to be a Jedi the whole season. You would be like, what was that? Just a waste of time for nothing. Hera, she's got a son, so that'd be tough. The crew could maybe raise him. Uncle Zeb and Uncle friggin' Ezra. I don't know.
Somebody said like there is a chance that it might have been us who said it last episode. If they kill the mom and then the son kind of goes dark from it, that could be pretty cool.
Crazy. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
Could he be Snoke? No, I don't think the timeline matches up.
No.
Could he be a Knight of Ren?
He could be a Knight of Ren. I still don't hate the idea of Andy Serkis was left behind in Andor. The Empire started experimenting on him and torturing him as punishment for rallying people around that prison break or whatever, and he becomes Snoke.
There we go. Yeah, we talked about that, and I like that. And the more I think of it, like that I don't know how many characters I've met in the Star Wars universe that I like as much as the Serkis character since like the Rise of Skywalker, and that would be actually absolutely perfect. So it would be a big stretch though. It would take a lot of you're like, that was the guy. But I mean, at this point, like he's just going to somehow be the Emperor. And then the Emperor came back again the next movie as well. It doesn't make any fucking sense. We don't really know. He just came back. What was the line?
Palpatine returned. Yeah. That's and they didn't. We need to do a skit where they cut to like us, the two rebels in the back that are like, wait, what? No, wait, go back to that. How?
I want to just have like a talk with Seth MacFarlane, or did they do like a sequel trilogy on Family Guy? I want to just
Alex Sulkin about it too. And I said, because they made a joke in the last one, they said the Cleveland show will handle the prequels. And I was like, was that like just you putting it on them, or were you actually trying to tease something? He's like, yeah, we were so fucking tired of doing the parodies. By the time Return of the Jedi rolled around, we were like, we don't want to do that anymore. I was like, but why? They're so good.
He's like, yeah, that was like 3 years of my life just gone in an instant. Except,
and it's also like they were doing it for movies they loved the first time around. To do it for movies you don't love is probably a lot more strenuous.
I would have liked it because it would have probably gotten mean at one point, and I would have just been giggling the entire time.
They could. Hey, this is maybe a hot take. I think Family Guy could bring sequel trilogy fans together if they made sequel trilogy parodies. I think they could poke fun at it in the perfect way, where even a Last Jedi stan like myself could laugh at some of that Rose Tico Canto Bite stuff.
Even like if the Lego movie had the license to really get a little mean with it too, because they do a good job with the same kind of humor right there. So yeah, I would just love to hear, if I couldn't see the episode, just to hear Seth MacFarlane's thoughts, because I think me and him are probably on the same line there in terms of how we feel about some of the stuff. It would be good. But nonetheless, I think this show, as well as Andor, as well as some other things, are going to help fix a lot of the things that some people didn't like about the sequel trilogies, more so this era than Andor, which is obviously before episode 4. But I do think the whole entire universe is going to make a lot more sense in like 5 years from now. And I feel, is it crazy to say, I feel better about the Star Wars galaxy right now than I do about the MCU in terms of just like the way it's heading?
That's a great question. I think I'm with you though. I think I agree. Yeah, I think I have more faith in them. They're on a path that we could actually see that's connecting. Carson Teva is connecting everything. He's our guy right
Yeah,
now. We're
yeah,
in the
he is.
Marvel universe.
He's
There's
the
not as much.
Spider-Man meme trying to push it,
Yeah.
like hold it all together, and it's
Yeah.
Carson fucking Teva. What the
Yeah.
hell is
We got to
going
get
on?
him on the podcast. We have to. I followed him on Twitter this week.
I bet he's available. I bet he's free, so he could definitely come on. And
I
we got
would love to get. He's our white whale now. He's our white space whale.
the writer's strike is over. Bob Fox was fucking fired.
It is, yeah.
The passion in the blog. Actors should be soon. Have you heard anything new on that?
I think they're meeting next week. By the end of next week, they're meeting and hoping to end it. Beautiful. And hopefully they end it before New York Comic Con. It'd be nice. And I don't know when. It's probably sometime next month. I don't know if I'm going, but it's always a last minute thing with us. But it'd be fun to go to that and actually get to see some people.
And they actually are backed up a little bit. So kind of like that scene in Scary Movie, just a full release of like all the stuff they couldn't promote. Like Seth Rogen's probably like, this is bullshit. I had a Ninja Turtles movie come out. I couldn't say a thing about it. It was awesome. And I had to just sit there, just quiet. And everyone who saw it loved it. And everyone who didn't even know it was out didn't pay a dime for it. So that could end up working out perfectly for New York Comic Con. That's a great point. I didn't think about that.
And we got a crazy schedule of shows coming up. I mean, next week we've got the finale of Ahsoka, which we'll of course be recapping. And that will come out on Tuesday the 3rd. On Friday the 6th, I believe it's Friday the 6th, we're getting Loki. So we'll probably have to do a weekend episode or something to recap that one. Maybe because I think it's Friday the 6th at 9 p.m. So we'll probably have an episode on Saturday or something, or we'll figure something out for that. And the slate going forward, Fargo season 5 starring John Hamm trailer came out. That comes out in November. Then I think in January we're getting a new season of True Detective with Jodie Foster.
Oh Jesus,
crazy shit on the horizon. So hopefully the writer strike and the actor strike isn't going to create too much of a backlog.
I feel like we probably got through some of the tougher times just like this month and then going into next month. We had like the one show Netflix got us by with some random docs, which I watched episode 1 of Wrestlers. You watched the first 3, right?
I watched the first 3. I was impressed with it. I think there's a lot that like I was watching and I was like, I think this reality show might be a work. But I still thought it was very entertaining. Like, I think it's very well done. And like the ending of episode 3 is like scary and crazy. So really? I would recommend people check out Wrestlers. I do think it's a pretty, I'll say this, and I don't want to be mean. I feel OVW is portrayed in Wrestlers as like a step below AEW and WWE. It's very much your local wrestling company. Like they have local TV access or whatever, but it's your local like shindig at the American Legion Hall. So on that level, it's a very good look at what it takes in that, but it's not great wrestling. I'm sorry.
Okay. So this is kind of like with this show where you know all the stuff through Rebels, or in this case, wrestling, all the diehard stuff. And I would have known this stuff 20 years ago when I was going on WrestleZone.com, getting my rumors about who was backstage at Raw the night before. I don't know anything. So when they're telling me, I'm like, oh, they have a TV show and they're one of the only ones that have a TV show. They must be just a tier below. No, sounds like they are like,
they're a couple tiers below. Yeah.
Couple tiers below. But then nonetheless, very cool. Al Snow was in it and he looked so fucking good. I'm just blown away that he's so put together. I figured if you had told me living or dead, and you named 10 wrestlers, Al Snow would have been easily my top 3 most likely to be dead. Because I just figured he was a crazy person outside of the ring. Like he played such a crazy person in the ring. Yeah, exactly. He was an EC. If you're an ECW, you had multiple screws loose to even just enter that fucking company. And I love that company. It was really
it's worth
good
checking out though. I do think it's a good watch. Yeah.
I also had no clue Fargo was coming out in November, even though I sent you the trailer. I didn't see the date. So that Gen V.
Gen V in 2 days. Yeah. So I don't know if we probably won't do a weekly Gen V because it's just on top of Loki, but I think we'll probably do a episode or a season recap or something of that.
We'll definitely do something for it. And if it kind of grips us, like Last of Us did, I think, we'll just let it ride. I think if it's a weekly release, it makes it a little easier instead of just binging all at once. If there becomes some momentum behind it, it makes sense for us all to jump in together.
Yeah, maybe we'll bring back the quick hitters for it.
Yep.
Do we have a hashtag for the people to use this week?
Hashtag Let's see.
What's something we talked about this week?
We got
hashtag no saber.
Hashtag no saber. Yep.
You like
hashtag
that?
No saber. Yep.
Little homage to Ezra Bridger. You mentioned them bridging the gap. Ezra Bridger the gap. If you made it to the end of the episode, make sure to tweet us with the hashtag no saber and come back next week for the Ahsoka finale reaction recap. I'm sure it'll be a great show. Fingers crossed they nail the finale. If they nail the finale, this is going to be one of the best seasons of Star Wars television we've gotten.
Let me ask you this, Bob. What is the lowest number of minutes you could see for this episode where you don't feel sad?
I would like the finale to be 39 minutes or above.
Wow, that's lower than I would have expected. I thought you were going to say like at least 59 or something like that. But that's a fair.
I would have said that, but I feel like they did a very good job with some episodes that were around 39 minutes in this show where I'm like, that maybe that's all I need.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel the same. There's not a lot of fat left on the bone, which we were just eating straight up just 100% fat with some of these Star Wars shows. And,
yeah, like this, everything we recapped here, I felt like not a scene was wasted in this episode.
Yeah. Yes, and more of this, and hopefully Marvel's watching and they start making their shows like this as well.
Exactly. All right, we'll see you guys next week.